The story of Prophet Noah alaihi salam. Mommy, can you read a bedtime story for me, please? Sure, my dear. I will read to you a story about Prophet Noah. Do you know him? No, Mommy. It's okay. I will tell you, my dear. Prophet Noah was born almost 1,000 years after Prophet Adam came to this earth. Prophet Noah are amongst the Rasul Ulul Azmi other than Prophet Ibrahim, Prophet Musa, Prophet Isa, and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ulul Azmi, which means have strong determination. The characteristic of Rasul Ulul Azmi is the one who have extraordinary bravery, strong patience in carrying out his sacred duties, despite of the problems and obstacles from his people. The Muslims were left abandoned after the death of Prophet Idrus. People began to look for religious companions of Idrus for guidance. Eventually, they also had passed away. Satan, who watched, approached in the shape of human and said,
"If we make statues of these religious men, it will be more better to us in our worship and remind us of them."
The men agreed as they think no harm in building statues of their most religious men that would help them to remember Allah and encourage them to do good. Satan had successfully fooled them. Centuries passed, and Allah sent Prophet Noah to guide them. Prophet Noah began to preach his people. He explained that Satan has misled them into worshipping idols and warned them of a terrible punishment from Allah if they continue worshipping their idol. The people of Prophet Noah began to find hope in his words. Whilst the rich watched with anger, they said to Noah,
"We see you but a man like ourselves."
Prophet Noah explained that Allah had specifically chosen a human messenger and so that they understand the message delivered. One day, the wealthy masters of the city approached Prophet Noah and asked him to dismiss his believers. Prophet Noah explained that materialistic were worthless in the sight of Allah and what matters is their heart. They angrily challenged Noah.
"Oh no, bring upon us what you threaten us with."
The Prophet Noah replied,
"Only Allah will bring the punishment on you, if He wills, and then you will not be able to escape."
Despite the continuous rejection, Prophet Noah still patiently calling to his people to Islam for 950 years. But every generation rejected Noah as their fathers did. Prophet Noah realized that the number of disbelievers increased, whilst the number of believers remained unchanged. He was very upset for his people and feared a terrible punishment for them. Prophet Noah prayed to Allah.
"O Allah, they have disobeyed me and followed one whose wealth grants no increase to the disbelievers."
Prophet Noah's prayer was accepted by Allah and he instructed Prophet Noah to build an ark. Prophet Noah tells the people about the rain, but they do not believe him. Only those who believe in him agreed to help him with the ark. Away from the sea, Prophet Noah began to build the ark through the day and night with the support and guidance of the angels. The disbelievers said arrogantly,
"Oh Noah, why are you building an ark so far from the sea? Is the wind going to carry it for you?"
Prophet Noah answered,
"You will come to know who will be put to shame and suffering."
The ark has to be huge since Prophet Noah must also bring the animals with him along with the believers. Allah then told Prophet Noah about the sign and to collect the believers and board the ark for it. It was the beginning sign of the floods that would destroy the disbelievers. Not long after, the terrible day dawned. Prophet Noah realized that the sign has come. It is time to board the ship. Along with the believers, he took with him pairs of animals, birds, and also insects. The disbelievers who saw his peculiar actions laughed and said,
Noah must have gone mad.
When they had boarded the ark, the heavy rains began to pour down from the angry skies through every crack of the earth. The water levels gradually began to rise and the oceans conquered the land. The once dry land was now completely submerged in water for the first time. Prophet Noah witnessed the bad things happen to his people. He knew that they will not be able to escape from the extreme anger of Allah. Prophet Noah's wife and son were among the disbelievers. They refused to board on the ark along with Noah and arrogantly said,
I will get to the mountain. It will save me from the water.
The disbelievers were calling for help so they wouldn't drown, but it was too late since the land was flooded. Eventually, all of them were drowned by the angry waves and none of them survived. After a while, the skies immediately cleared and the sun shone brightly on the land as Allah has ordered.
O earth, swallow up your water, and O sky, withhold your rain.
Prophet Noah's ark has landed at Mount Judy. Prophet Noah along with the believers got off the ark, releasing the rescued animals, birds, and insects across the Greenland. Prophet Noah was very sad and cried to Allah because of his disbelievers' son and wife. Allah replied to him that they were not part of his family because they were not believers. True family are the believers of Allah. Prophet Noah placed his forehead on the ground, prostrated to his Lord, and thanked him for his mercy and blessings. The believers were grateful to Allah for safeguarding them from the terrible disaster and observed a day of fasting as an act of gratitude to Allah. A new beginning start for human beings. From that day, all the believers started their new generation. Before the death of Prophet Noah, he advised them to only worship Allah and not the others. This is the end of Prophet Noah's story. Inshallah, next time I will share another beautiful stories of Prophet to you, my dear. Now it's time to sleep.
There are so many moral values that we can learn from the story. The first one is patience is the key. Prophet Noah told his people the message of Islam for 950 years. He kept his hope on his people and kept his faith in Allah. We must be patient for the good. The second one is listen to Allah's command. Allah commanded Prophet Noah to build an ark. They followed his instruction, which ended up helping them to survive from the disaster. The last one is ask for Allah's guidance. When you feel empty inside or you are stuck on something especially, ask for Allah's help just like Prophet Noah did when he couldn't convince his people any longer.
That is all for the story of Prophet Noah from us, Nurul Faiqah binti Paiman and Nurul Najibah binti Musameh. Thank you for watching.